Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. And we're a few minutes late, but we'll tell you about that later. Welcome to the Cars and Coffee with Kenny Brown show. I'm Carrie Southworth, one of your co-hosts, and Brad Grissom. So today we have a very exciting show. It's going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. We're not going to have a lot of tech. We are going to be going down memory lane. I'll be showing you some samples of Kenny's race uniforms throughout the years. Also, we'll be doing a little bit of a show and tell since it's Black Friday. I will be showing you some Kenny Brown products, including some of our new soft goods lines. And we will be giving away a track bag. That's one of our new products to one lucky winner. Also, we will be sharing some Secret Saturday specials with you as well. So let's take it away. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing well. I think my screen looks a little bit blurry though, for some reason.
Yes, it does. Why. It is Cars and Coffee with Kenny tech issues today. So my camera went out on me, so I am on my computer camera. So we are working with that, and it looks like we are going to go through some of the uniforms here.
Yeah, but first we want to talk about, if you're viewing today on Facebook, to please give us a like. That's a thumbs up, or you can give us the heart-shaped wrench, which is even better. Facebook really likes that, I think. Be sure to share it with your friends. If you're viewing on the Facebook page, that's the Speed Therapy Society Facebook group, sometimes we can't see your comments, so just be aware of that. Also, if you're viewing on YouTube, be sure to also give us a thumbs up, which I think is a like, but also hit the subscribe button next to it. And then when you subscribe, you can also click the bell to get notified every time we go live or load a new video. So I think that's the housekeeping.
Yes.
Mary.
And let's see who's here. Why don't you put your name in the comments and tell us where you're from, and if you want to, what kind of car you drive. That would be fun, kind of fun to know. It looks like we have Dylan with us this morning from North Dakota. Dylan, do you have lots of snow up there? Brian West, good to see you. Oh, Tom Wilson, it's great to see you. He's from St. Louis. We also have somebody from sunny Buffalo. I think I know who that is. That is Jay Myers. You say it says Facebook users, Jay, so that's why I'm guessing it's you. Rory Merrick, he's with us. He's our lucky guy. He typically wins our little gifts that we give away each show. Fred Francher from Louisville. Looks like we have Eric Lehigh. Good morning. We have Fox Buddy FX. Good morning from Atlanta, Georgia. We know who he is. Lance is going to be on our show pretty soon, so we look forward to having him. He's really into the Fox Bodies, so if you own a Fox Body, you're not going to want to miss that show. And so let's get right into what we're going to be doing. We're going to be, a lot of people seem to be liking us showing some of the Kenny Brown memorabilia, and I am going to show you some things that I found in the flooded basement. So here we go. I will show you the first one. So as you know, we've been talking about Kenny's mini sport. This is one of his shirts that I found from his mini sport racing division. He ran an import shop. You can see this mini sport, a professional garage for import cars. Obviously, you see where it's located. I don't know why he put so much emphasis on the address, except for maybe it was probably local business. But he, with mini sport, he ran a lot of different, maintained a lot of different race cars for SCCA, and he also did a lot of work on import cars, and I think we covered that a little bit last week. So that's
yeah. So mini sport was primarily what he did at mini sport was open wheel cars like Formula V's, Formula Atlantics, which is how we met the gentleman who was a Budweiser distributor down here in Florida, and they did a lot of things together. So mini sport, he did MGs and midgets and bug-eyed sprites and Datsuns. He did a lot of Datsuns back then. I think they were like the 240Z or something like that. But his real forte was open wheel cars. And so he had a lot of people that ran Formula V's and SCCA, a dozen people probably. And so he maintained the cars, prepped the cars, and then he also raced a Formula V himself. In fact, that was one of his first true race car he ever purchased was a Formula V. And he did that as part of the mini sport program. That's kind of how it got started. He developed mini sports so that he could make enough money to race his own Formula V on the weekends, and he always did really, really well. And so that helped him get more customers, because the better he was, the more the customers wanted to be like him. So it worked out great.
And if you can't tell, Brad is our Kenny Brown historian. So I will show this other shirt here. So this is the next one. This is, we talked about this too, also Project 6 Racing Series. This is the company he started with the Celine program on. And as you see, this one particular is his, when he was racing the March 2000, Sports 2000. So, and it was DBI, Dave Benbow International. And this is when he was the national distributor or builder of the March 2000 program. And again, this is when he learned that his cars were just excellent and were winning races, but they were so complex that other people had a hard time adjusting them. And that's why all Kenny Brown products are easy to install, easy to maintain, and easy to adjust. That's what he learned from this program. The next one, I just brought a shirt in. This is what they would wear. This is the 86 General Tire season. And they always wore like polo shirts like this when it was practice days. They wouldn't wear their full uniform. And I thought it'd be interesting just to see what they wore on practice days. And I think they wore their regular ones on qualifying, their shirts. So that was pretty cool.
It's hard to believe that shirt doesn't have more stains on it.
Well, there were some shirts with stains on it, but I chose not to bring those in. But yes, he has lots of shirts like that with stains on it. And then this right here, let me take this Kenny Brown banner down so you can see this. And can anybody guess what season this is from? This is, it says General Tire on the front, General on the back. But this was definitely the Celine Racing 87, 86 program. So
that would have been 1987 that year.
Yep.
That shirt.
Then we have something, I couldn't find the race uniform for this, but this is again, this is a practice shirt during practice days. And this was when he was running this Mustang on his own after the Celine program. And this is Team Omaha. And we ran
that car got stolen.
Yeah. Yes, it did. And guess what day it got stolen on? You know this, Brad. So not a good day. I mean, it was a beautiful day, but not a good day to get your car stolen. Christmas Eve night is when it was stolen. So that tells you that you need to lock things up and check your stuff on holidays, I guess. Here is our old logo. I thought this might be interesting this was the beginning of Project Industries or Kenny Brown Performance. And I thought that was a cool logo. And I think we can actually probably still use it today. In its time, it was like a really, kind of like a concept car. There's a lot of cars that look like that now, or little drawings, but this was the first. And Brad, didn't we win an Addy on this one?
Yeah, so I think that hold the shirt back up again. I think that I believe it was an agency in Omaha that did that. And so that's funny because that logo design was done back in 1991 or something like that, Carrie, maybe it was the very early 90s before you moved to Indianapolis. And so that logo design won a silver Addy, which is an advertising award in the ad world. But the logo looked a lot like the SN95 Mustang. And what was so ironic was that they designed the logo before anybody knew what the SN95 Mustang was even going to look like. So it fit really, really well in 94 and 95. And we used that logo for transition, I think, from Project Industries to Kenny Brown Performance as our primary branding. We continued using that logo until later years when we changed to the logo plate design like we do now.
And
So
Kenny
interesting.
was,
Sorry to steal the show there.
oh, no, that's fine. I wanted you to add some comments. And Kenny was always a visionary. He always was out there thinking ahead of himself. In fact, he has a whole bunch of projects, unfinished projects that are, if I mentioned to you, you say, wow, I never thought about that. It's something new in the industry. And this one is a Pirelli race shirt. And I'm thinking, Brad, you're going to have to help me with this. I think he wore this at the 8,500.
No, I was wondering where that shirt went. That's my shirt.
Is that why it's so dirty around the collar?
Yeah, it is. That's
is
the
this
track.
Your shirt?
Yeah, so that's the shirt that I used to wear when I was doing work with Pirelli. And so like on pit lane and in the paddock, we would work with customers. And so, you know, when you were working with Pirelli, you always had Pirelli everything, you know, really big all over you. So yeah, that was my old work shirt.
That's cool. I don't know. Well, it was down with in our stuff. So with Kenny's shirts. So anyway, here's another shirt that many of you probably saw Kenny wear this. And this is, I believe, was this from when he did the Mustang Challenge, or when was this from, Brad?
So this was, it was 2003 or 2004. And that would have been in what was called the Speed GT series at the time. And so the Speed GT series is the World Challenge series. And so you probably have another shirt. These were our crew shirts that we wore. So Carrie had one, I had one, Rich had one. That was like the dress up shirt. And then so that is the shirt from the Paul Brown years. And so that's what the World Challenge logo became after they were sold again. And again, Sunoco Race Fuels, which was the official fuel supplier of World Challenge and has been for eons. And then Ford Racing, of course, we were always racing Ford Mustangs, building and racing and developing and engineering and crew chiefing Ford Mustangs. Kenny was. That's what he did.
And this shirt is the last one I'm going to show, but this shirt, you've probably seen him. He loved to wear, he's always been a white button-down shirt guy. And I'm sorry I keep going back and forth. I'm looking at this backwards so you can read the print. See that? Pointing at the wrong spot. So anyway, he always wore this during our track day events that we put on. Also, when he was contracted, he did a lot of contract work getting teams that wanted to go professional racing. He would take them from where they were in club racing and bring them up into the ranks. In fact, one of the teams he worked with and brought up was AE Racing, which was Roger Rojas. Always evolving, and Paul Walker. That was their team. And then we all know what happened there. They both passed away in a car accident. So, but anyway, that was one of the teams that he was contracted to work with. But he's really good at taking people, as you know, he loves to teach. So he was very good at taking teams that wanted to aspire to go professional racing, and he took them professional racing. So that's what we had to share there. I thought that was pretty interesting. And now we are going to get on to a few other things. First of all, I want to show you what we're going to be giving away today. So it's going to be this bag, and I'll show you what's in it first. This is one of the new things we're coming out with. I'm going to take this away. And I'll show you what's in the bag. This does not come with the bag, but so the person that wins this bag, this is what we're calling a track bag. They have to put in the comments. Brad, what do we decide they're going to put in there? The name of Kenny's first shop in Omaha.
Yes,
with the Blondo address on the back. So if anybody can come up with that name of that shop or his business, they will win that. Again, if numerous people do it, we'll do a count and read that off. So what fits in here? Would you want to hold this up over here? What fits in here is a helmet, gloves, and shoes. So you can use it as a track bag. Let's see if they can see the inside of this. I don't know how big it is. It's huge. but it's a really good size. It actually heavy enough to hold tools in there. You can put your track gear in there if you're just an occasional track person, and you can also put your track snacks in there. I think that would be a good place for that as well. So I just wanted to show you that. That's one of our new products, and that is selling for $29.95. So if you're interested, it's on the website already, and you can order that. It'd be a nice gift for somebody that's at the track. Maybe a good gift for your wives, just to give them something to be interested in at the track. You can tell them it's a snack bag. And this next one we have on the website already. And this is another track bag that we have, and it's perfect for our track setup kit. And in the track setup kit is the perometer. And Brad, tell me a little bit about the perometer. You know a little bit more because you've done a lot of testing with Pirelli.
Yeah, so you want to hold that back up again? I'll show them real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's got a large digital readout, which is a good thing when you're at the racetrack. Yeah, maybe you can turn it on. Yep. So the numbers are super big, so it's easy to read. The probe, it's got a nice plastic handle. It's bent at 90 degrees, which makes it a lot easier to get inside the tire, especially when you're doing the inside temperature or the middle temperature. And then of course it has a little pointy. Yeah, it's got the dental tool at the end of it. That's the probe, and so you want to stick the probe all the way inside the tire. But what I like about this is it has a nice stop on it. It's a little bit easier to use than kind of the some of the pyrometers that I've used in the past, the memory pyrometers. The probe is nice. You can't stick it in too far. It's perfect, and it's cost effective too, and it'll last a long time. It's a durable piece. And then,
so as you know, Kenny loves really preach that when you go to the track, you need to take tire temperatures because it's the easiest and cheapest way to set your car up at the track. In the tire track pack is the tire temp sheet that we've developed. And if you've done any of Kenny's tire temp seminars, you will know all about that. And it comes with a little clipboard to hold that. And we also have the handy dandy gauge. And it's very important to have a high quality gauge. There's a lot of them out there that are really cheap, inexpensive, but they're also cheap. You want to make sure you have a good gauge because they don't always measure the correct pressure. They're inconsistent a lot of times. This one's a really good one. We get it from Joe's, as you can see.
Yep. So you want to make sure that you're always using a high quality gauge that's designed for racing like that. If you notice, she's holding in her hand the part with the dial itself, and so it's got a really nice rubber housing on it that protects it when it gets dropped. It's a 0 to 60 psi gauge, so it's pretty universal. There's a little button just underneath the gauge itself that you can press, and so that's a pressure relief. So you can hit the tire pressure, and then you can use that to bleed pressure off on pit lane really easily. And so we always talk about bleeding pressure off on pit lane, and so you have to have that little device right there in order for it to work. It comes with an extra chuck, which is tie wrapped onto the hose itself. So it's a pretty universal piece. It's high quality. It's cost effective. It's also glow in the dark for what it's worth.
In case you're doing those night races.
One other thing before you go to the next one, just because Jack commented on, he's answering our trivia question. The very first T-shirt that Carrie held up at the beginning of the show, do not hold it back up. That's the shirt for the company that he first started when he was in Omaha, when he first got into building race cars. Okay, so go on.
So the trackside kit is $219. That's $40 less. So it's typically $259. So it's on sale over the Black Friday weekend for $219. Plus, you get this brake bleed kit. And what's really nice about this is that it actually is magnetic. so you don't have to hold it. You can always bleed the brakes by yourself. Brad, you want to give a few more comments on this, or Rich?
Yeah, so you basically use the magnet, you attach the bottle to the brake rotor itself, and so you don't have to worry about it flopping around or anything else. And then it comes with a hose that is a pretty universal size, so it'll work with Bear brakes, Brembo brakes, factory brakes, just about anything. And it's a big bottle too, so it's a nice piece.
Make it even bigger.
Wide mouth
Look
on it
how
too.
big it is. Do you see the size of that? That is a
It's
big, huge.
huge.
So anyway, I just had to have a little fun. So anyway, with the trackside kit, I think this is a pretty good deal this weekend, and all our sales are going through November 30th. So the trackside kit is $40 off, plus you get this brake bleed bottle with it. So if you're considering or have been considering purchasing that, this is a good weekend to do that. So I think what we're going to do, Brad, is I think Rich is going to show us a couple of products as well. And then we're going to go into some of the apparel or soft goods that we have available. So I know people are interested in that. Okay, so Brad, Rich, do you want to show a little bit about the tire?
Okay, so one of the specials that we have this weekend is going to be the Apex wheels. Now this one is an 18 by 11 for a S550.
Okay, it looks like Carrie's having some bandwidth issues on her end. So I'll fill in with the another special that we're running is for the Bear Kenny Brown Pro 4R brake kit. Those kits are probably going to go up in price again, I would say, after the first of the year. Now that Bear's been purchased by Holley, that seems to be the trend. So we are going to be running some specials on those through the holidays. I know that currently we're running a special where we're offering free brake temperature paint. I believe, at least for the Bear Pro 4R, that may be for all the Bear brake kits. And I'll wait on Carrie to come back. She's completely dropped off the stream now. But Jack Sieber, you commented Project Industries, so that wasn't Kenny's first business in Omaha, if you're still out there watching. We've got some comments that have come in. I wanted to say hi to Herstifer in Bulgaria. He wished us happy Thanksgiving. I think about Herstifer a lot with him being in Bulgaria, so it's always fun to see him on the stream, and I can't wait to catch up with you during the Academy alumni meeting, which will be coming up here in another week or so. Joe Johnson's joining us from Texas. Lance, you said that you want that shirt. I'm assuming that you're talking about the Celine shirt, and I can't blame you one bit. It looks like they've lost power at the office in Indianapolis. Tim Allen, thanks for joining us today. 89, no, that was not the year. Rory, that logo on a hat would be awesome. You're right. We did have that logo on a hat at one time. So we might, try to resurrect that at some point. Brian West says, I want that bag. Also, I think the bag that Carrie was showing everyone, both the large track bag and the trackside toolkit bag, both of those bags will be embroidered with the Kenny Brown logo. It'll be embellished with the Kenny Brown logo.
So you can see the difference. Okay. So one's a 13-inch bag and the other one's a 17-inch bag. And they're really high quality and super durable. Like I said, they've been tested with tools in them and they work really well. So highly recommend you get that. I apologize for disappearing. We have been having intermittent power outages here, and that's what happened. And it threw my computer offline. So, and actually that's why we were a little bit late today. So as you know, we love to have tech issues here. Not really.
We search for them.
We search. I think they search for us. So Brad, did you go through the hats?
I did not. No.
Okay, why don't you
We
start
didn't
with
talk
that?
about any of the apparel at all because Rich was right in the middle of Apex Wheels, and I thought we would just go right back into Apex Wheels.
Okay, let's go to the Apex wheels then. Here we go. We'll try it again.
Okay, so these are 18 by 11s. They were designed to fit the S550, and it's one of our specials that we're running this weekend until the 30th. And right now, the special on these, their original price is $414. You can buy them this week until the 30th for $351. And they do come in 4 colors. They got a bronze. This is satin black. They have a race silver, and then they have an anthracite.
And the anthracite is kind of a charcoal gray, I believe. That's the anthracite color right there.
That's the anthracite.
That color is the stellar color.
And one of the questions that we get on a regular basis is how well do they fit as far as the factory brakes and then the aftermarket brakes. And it's probably one of the best companies between them and Forge Line for adequate wheel clearance for your brakes. So the common package of our Pro 4Rs, these wheels fit very nicely and gives you plenty of space to work with. And that was their design. Now, the interesting thing about that being an 18 by 11 inch wheel is it only weighs 22.8 pounds. So it's actually a very light wheel. And so consequently, it's one that you're going to lose some weight if you're running a factory wheel, and which actually makes the car spool up quicker, easier to drive, and provides better braking. So one of the things too with the Apex wheels is it's a hub-centric wheel. So you can just put it on, bolt it into place, and it's a very easy installation. They do offer them with TPMS sensors, so you can use your factory TPMS system in the car. And that kind of helps out too, as far as if you would ever lose power or lose air in one of the tires on track and stuff. And then that's kind of reassurance. So
the other thing that's on
so I have a question, Rich. Rich, I have a question for you. The Apex wheels, do they come with valve stems?
They do not. They are ordered separate because most people are doing TPMS sensors with them. And they actually do a color matched TPMS sensor, or you can buy a standard air stem.
And so if you're using it on a car that doesn't have TPMS, always be sure to buy a nice steel valve stem that screws in.
Well, the TPMS sensor is going to come with the valve stem.
Yeah, so if you're running the wheel without a TPMS sensor, always be sure not to use the rubber valve stems. To always buy a good steel valve stem. And when you're using cores for valve stems themselves, they do make 2 different types. So if you're at a tire shop who does a lot of race tires, you'll probably see them using what we call high temperature cores. And so if you pull the core out of your valve stem, it'll be either green or red. Typically, I believe the red is high temp and the green is standard passenger tire. So this is a tech tip that I'm providing, Cari.
Good, good. Because Kenny would be very upset if we didn't provide at least one tech tip. So you like to do the whole shows with tech in it. You've
got it. Yep. And so on the Academy alumni, we'll be talking about road force balancing tires. So for all of you that are alumni members out there that are viewing, I want to make that a topic. So now that we're talking about wheels, Cari, we also have a special on Forge Line. Isn't that correct? Rich, can you clue us in on what the Forge Line special is?
Yeah, so Forge Line is 15% off all Forge Line wheels. And I find that pretty interesting because it's all Forge Line wheels. So that means if you have been lusting after those carbon fiber wheels that they offer, then you get $660 off that carbon fiber wheel per wheel. So it's
a perfect time to take the dive for the carbon wheels. It's pretty incredible. The difference in the weight and the durability is just incredible.
So, but anyway, all of, as you know, we are huge Forge Line proponents, and we love their wheels. And the way they build their wheels is so much better than so many other companies out there. So we highly recommend that. And this is a great time. They only offer a discount once a year, and this is the only time they do. So it's again, it's 15% off all Forge Line wheels, and that is through Tuesday is when their sale ends. So that's through that's 29th. So kind of keep that in mind. So we are going to.
Well, I just wanted to say this is a good time to take advantage of the Forge Line special, because Forge Line only runs specials during the holidays. We should also note that when you order Forge Line wheels, there is some lead time. Unlike the Apex wheels typically ship on demand, with Forge Line, you're custom building your specific wheel, and there are a lot of options. And the lead time can be 4 to 8 weeks from the time you place your order until they're delivered. So just keep that in mind. Little disclaimer there. There's a couple of comments, Cari, that I wanted to go through real quick. We do have some people who are responding to our trivia question, and we have some correct answers. Dan says, "Hey Brad, how about that mug?" So this is a prototype mug that I have here. Cari has one at her house too, I believe. I use it. I've got a couple of prototype mugs. So we've got some that we're working on. It's going in our merch line, which is coming up. It's coming along. I'll say that. We've got the first few items up on the website. So Dan, stay tuned for more, or just keep an eye out. Joe Johnson says he loves those wheels. There's a Facebook user who says he loves his Apex SM10s and Anthracites. Roy, I wanted to show your question. So if the valve stem has a green cap on it, that means nitrogen. If it has a black cap, then that's probably just air. The portion of the valve stem that I'm talking about is the core that goes inside the valve stem housing itself. You have to pull that out with a special type of tool. So you'll probably see them do that at the tire shop. And so that's I'll try to find one, and we'll talk about that on a different show. And Lance from Fox Body FX, do you have a link for that Forge Line deal to your website, maybe to share? So what you need to do for Forge Line wheels, because there are so many options, we've got a link on our website, but for the most part, you call us direct and we'll walk you through the whole entire process for building the wheel itself. Cari,
I'm here. I was looking for the link. So I was put the link up.
I'll grab the link and I'll post it up real quick.
And so then we also have Rory has mentioned hard to find road force balancing up here. Yet we do have the tire shavers for all-wheel drive. And Rory is from Canada. Speaking of merchandise, how about the lovely Kenny Brown windshield banners? Well, Brad, Rich, do you want to show that? So
we have them?
Yeah, we have them. We got them in stock, and Kathy hasn't put them up on the website. So this will be up on the website. That's why we weren't going to talk about it today. Let me put you full screen.
We'll make it bounce.
There we go.
We can move it through.
So anyway, that's going to be selling for $20. So check that out on the website. Should be up by later today or tomorrow. So we'll get that up right away. Rory, let's see what else we have here. So I think it's a really good time that we share some of the apparel that we have, Brad. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Yep. But before I do that, I want to just specify that we have been working really hard on the apparel, and we were hoping to have more products to show you. They are in the works, and we haven't gotten shipping confirmation on any of them, well, a couple of them, but that will be showing you. But we're not comfortable showing you until we get shipping confirmation, because when we know it's the holidays, we want to make sure we have everything in stock. So as we get the shipping confirmation, we will be showing you the products we have, and you're going to be really excited about what we have to offer. And I'll share that a little bit after Brad shows some of the products that we have.
Yeah, well, I wanted to go back real quick, Cari, if I could. Rory made the comment that it's hard to find road force balancing up here, and so that can be true. Not everybody has the equipment, so it's always a good idea to search out a good tire shop that does have more advanced type of equipment. I'll just say that, and I'll also say that for alignments as well, because there's good and there's bad, and then there's worse.
And then we also have those.
I was going to say, I did post up the link as well to a sample link for Ford's line wheel. So that specific wheel is the wheel that Kenny used on Ruby, which was an S197 Mustang. And so we've sold a lot of those. That's a really nice monoblock wheel, but that kind of gives you an idea of something that Kenny would use for a race or a high-end track type of wheel. And then Dan had a question. Cari, can you answer that?
I did see the JRZ ones for the S550 on the website. Yes, because JRZ is not producing the JRZ ones anymore. They have gone directly to pros. RS Pros. So, and I think it's a little bit because they were having a divorce spring in the back for the S550s. And what they're doing now is they're just going to a full coilover front and rear. And so I'm assuming that's why they took that line down. So you have to go right to the pros. So call us if you have any questions. We can help you through that. But yeah, JRZ is ours. If nobody knows what JRZ is, they are our premier coilover shock vendor that we use, and they're just fantastic. We'll show those next time we get a few, and they're custom built in the Netherlands to Kenny's specifications. So they have his valving and everything in them. They're just wonderful. Brad, are you ready to show off some of your stuff?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Jack had a question that I think would be for you as well.
Okay, what is his question? I'm looking for
it. Says, any thoughts on reproducing the Super GT windshield and fender stickers? So I don't know, Cari. I don't know that we ever produced those. I know that we put them on production cars.
Yeah.
But did we sell those?
No, we never sold them. You had to have a conversion built. Jack, if you have one of the Kenny Brown serialized cars, we can get those for you, but we don't sell them to just anybody, because that was one of his premier cars. So sorry about that.
Okay.
But give us a call if you have a car.
And then it looks like Hurstfer was, he wants to figure out how to get Mustang Hub magazine in Bulgaria. So Hurstfer, Cari or I will reach out to Mustang Hub and look into that and sort that out for you, since you're not in the US. And Dylan made a comment, it's too bad I spent all my cash on things like Boundary, oil pump, Canton oil pan, etc. Now I have no money for wheels and KB memorabilia. But that's okay. That's okay, Dylan, because you're an alumni member. So when you are ready to purchase that stuff, and you've built your slush fund back up, because you're an Academy member, you already get special types of discounts as a benefit from having gone through the Academy. So we'll be here for you when you need us. Dan Figler says RS Pros. Okay, thank you. And so I'm going to try to share my screen now, and I'm going to try to make this easy for everybody. So I'm going to go to the Kenny Brown merch page, which our webmaster and myself were working on yesterday. I just need to remember how to share a screen now. And we'll talk about a couple of new products that we've added that are swag. And so that's just a few
while
items.
he's figuring that out, Brad, just let me know once you figure out how to share that screen. want to share with you, I think I already shared with you, we do have more products coming out and we wanted to share a little bit more, but we do not want to promise you something that will not be here by Christmas. So in the coming weeks, we'll show you more about what we have. It's so cool. We have a whole Kenny Brown tribute collection. So we've designed a tribute logo to represent him. And it's kind of, I love it because it's those who know he passed will know, and those that don't won't know. And that's kind of how we want it. So you'll love it. And we're coming out with a whole bunch of his sayings. I've seen some of the artwork on it, and they look really cool. So look forward to that. And then in January, we decided to hold off on our Cars and Coffee line and our coffee line until in January. We don't want to just pile everything on at once. So you'll be seeing some information on Cars and Coffee logos, coffee mugs, Kenny's chosen coffee, and t-shirts, hats, mugs, whatever. So look forward to that. Brad, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so the first thing is we've added this trucker cap, which is something that Cari and Jason and Kathy have been working on. So this is a pretty cool hat, I think. It's going to have the traditional Kenny Brown logo. We've searched out for the best quality that we can find. This is a snapback hat, which some people like.
Can you blow that up a little bit, Brad? Can you?
Yeah. Let me just go back to it here real quick. That's as big as we get.
Okay.
This was a mock-up from the vendor. So learning how to use.
What's interesting about that trucker cap? A lot of you may know the trucker caps are like really tall. This is a low profile trucker cap. So if you like the snapback, that's the one to get.
Yeah, what I like about this this hat, this is pretty identical to another hat that I'm a favorite, or is a favorite of mine, that I like to wear, that we used kind of in NASCAR. So it's super trendy. It's a cool hat. So I'm excited to get one for myself once they should be in, I think, this week. Is that right, Cari? Or we'll have this stuff?
I think they're going to be towards the end of this week.
Okay, so they'll be in before Christmas. So these are good stocking stuffers. But I'm a huge fan of V-Flex hats, and so this is a similar hat, but this is a V-Flex. So this is sort of a one size fits all. So basically, it'll fit your head unless you have like a super big giant head. And so it's a pretty cool hat as well. I've got a hat. A friend of mine that's in the apparel business. He's got a awkward kind of motorcycle brand, but he sells tons of these flex fit hats, and I love those because they fit my head comfortably. And in lieu of a snapback, it's kind of the way to go. So I think I can blow this up a little bit.
So is that what you call a dad hat? Is that what's referred to, a dad hat?
I don't know. Somebody will have to comment on that. If anybody knows if that's called a dad hat or not. I'm not familiar with some of this new apparel terminology. Cari, you're supposed to know all this stuff.
Oh, well, I'm not a dad, so.
Yeah, that's true. And then we have the classic beanie. And so I know that Jay Myers in Buffalo is going to love this beanie because he lives in Buffalo. So that kind of goes without saying. But so this is cool. This is comfortable. This is going to have the Kenny Brown. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the correct logo. We're going to use the Kenny Brown. Yes, that's
correct. Yep, that's the logo that's on it. This is
that's what we call the reverse logo, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that because it kind of has a little racy look to it.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that logo is we have different logos for different uses, I guess. And so this was the traditional logo that we used on like race cars and different things like that. We've used them on apparel, on several different things. So it incorporates the traditional Kenny Brown logo, but it adds the bars across the top and in the back.
So Brad,
well.
Brian West with his humor said, "Can we get a propeller on top?" No, Brian, that's extra. So
I'm sure that we could buy something that you could just stick up on top of there. So I'll look into that, Brian. I don't think that that'll be something we offer on the website as an accessory or an apparel accessory per se. But if we do find one, Brian will be sure to send it to you. You notice we have a couple of other things. Today in my studio, which is green screen, by the way, we do have an actual root beer float kit, but I'll show you that these are back again by popular demand. These were a limited edition deal, and they're still limited to however many we have here. But these things are awesome. Root beer floats were a Kenny Brown tradition. It comes packaged, in a nice box. It comes with a spoon and a straw for each mug. There's some different sample pics of it there.
So
But
Brad,
this is.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say
Brad.
this is a cool kit. I'm looking at it. I have it here with me right now, and I'm looking at it, and it's just super cool.
I think we should try to show it because I just think it's pretty cool how it goes in and out. You just need to. I'm gonna put the test on you.
Yep, I'll do that. And then the bags, which Carrie shows you, gift cards. Don't forget gift cards. The office chair, we have that listed in the merch section, but I'm actually sitting in one right now, so you can see a little bit about the chair. All of these Impact Racing office chairs and all Impact products, I think, are 10% off, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 10% off. And that office chair or gaming chair is extremely comfortable. And it's typically $350, and that's $315 right now. So if you have somebody, you need a new chair and you'd love that as a Christmas gift, just have your loved one call us or order it online. It's online under the merch section. So here it is.
Yeah. So if everybody can see it, it's a classic race seat design. And so this is basically an exact copy of one of Sparco's racing seats. And so these chairs, these Impact office chairs are actually a Sparco racing seat. And Impact has a similar seat that they sell as well. But these things are pretty cool because the side bolster is nice, but it'll fit anyone from a small to a larger type of person. It does have like a lumbar support on the side here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's pretty functional. You can get a lot of lumbar support out of it. It's a nice leather-ish type of deal. The arms are adjustable. I don't know if you can see that, but you can change where the armrest position is. And so now that I've had this chair I guess I've had it for almost 6 months now. It's super comfortable. I like it way better than a traditional office chair. It comes with the Impact logo embroidered on several different places, also on the back of the chair as well. So for anybody who's in the market for an office chair, 10% off. This is a pretty good deal, I think. So I really like that office chair.
I think that would be really good present to me from me. So
yeah, that was an interesting story how we ended up in this office chair.
So anyway, Brad, I'll tell you the story because it's kind of interesting. You kind of know Brad. So Brad and Kathy both work for us. Kathy is our webmaster. So anyway, both of them, their birthdays are very close, and they both love the seat. And Brad called me and said, "Hey, can you order the seat and have it delivered by this date for Kathy's birthday?" And I said, "Sure." And then Kathy called me and said, "Hey, I want to get this chair for Brad because he really likes it. Can you have it delivered by his birthday?" And what are your birthdays 2 days apart, Brad? Is that right?
3 days apart, I think.
3 days apart. So anyway, we had them delivered at the same time. And what happened when we had them delivered at the same time, Brad? What went on?
Well, there was a lot of confusion, And so I thought that UPS was going to deliver it. I was going to get it. She wasn't going to know, and then I would pull it out, and it would be a big surprise. And then I had to leave and run some errands or go do something for work. And I came home, and as I was pulling in the driveway, I noticed that the UPS truck was driving away, and I was like, "Oh shoot, my whole surprise has been spoiled now." And I walked into the house, and instead of 3 boxes, because the chair comes disassembled, there were like 6 boxes. And I had a complete look of shock on my face, and my wife was like, "Happy birthday, surprise!" And I was like, "No, happy birthday, that's your surprise." And then we both were trying to figure out, no, there's, and then we realized that we'd gotten each other the same gift for our birthdays. And so that was crazy, but that was a lot of fun. And thank you, Cari, for the huge surprise. And so we have another comment from Brian West, of course. Does Rich have a chair yet? So I think the answer to that question is no.
Yes.
But if we can get a few more people to buy Impact Racing office chairs, then I think Ben had a deal with Rich that Rich would end up with a new office chair. Mm-hmm. But
Rich has to sell 10 chairs. He's getting close. So you need to buy an office chair so you can get that free chair from Ben.
Yeah, and I love Rory Mark's comment. What does that say, Cari?
Come on, Brad. That's a torque.
No, it's a toque.
Toque?
It's a toque. Yeah.
I'm thinking cars. It's a toque.
If anybody else is viewing from Canada, I'm sure that you know what a toque is, but that's sort of a Canadian term. Maybe it's another type of term too. But so beanies are what they refer to as toques.
Ah, okay.
And so I can't remember who it was. And maybe it was Saturday Night Live. They had like Bob and Ed, or Bill and Ted, or they were these 2 guys from Canada, and they always did this skit where they were drinking beer and they were talking about Canadian things, and they were a huge hit. And I don't know if they ever made a movie about them, but they definitely were on Saturday Night Live, and I've seen Canadian so that's what Rory is referring to is a beanie is actually called a toque. In some languages, apparently.
Okay, I am looking, since we're getting towards the 12 o'clock hour here.
Oh, it was Bob and Doug McKenzie, and so I'm sure now, Brian West, I know that you have got to be huge Bob and Doug McKenzie fans, or at least were at the time, because that's kind of our generation. Cari, real quick, I have the root beer float kits. I'm going to try to show them.
Okay. And then we're going to give away our bag. So I know who the winner is.
I'm going to see if I can make this work because I'm on green screen.
I'll hold it in front of you. I'm making him do this because it's so difficult.
Okay. So nothing seems to be working.
But you see, it's in a nice gift pack. So it's a really nice gift if you have a car buddy. And the reason we have root beer kits is at every track event Kenny held, we always had root beer floats at noon on either the first or second day, or if it was a super hot day, both days. So he's known for root beer floats. So we developed a root beer float that he liked, and that is what's in the kit. So anyway, it's a beautiful kit. If you like it, I put a link in the comments. You can click on it there and purchase it for somebody. So let's see. I want to give away this bag here, and I found the person. I thought maybe I chose who was going to win it, because I think the first person that mentioned it gets the bag. So it's Richard P. Richard, if you can send us an email at info@kennybrown.com with your address, we will definitely get you the bag. Rich, can you show me the bag with the helmet in it? I'll show it to you again, but Richard, you have won the bag. And We will, I'm showing it to you right here. Here is the bag again.
And also, Richard, if you, it looks like you're viewing on YouTube. If you want to put in the comments section, maybe, well, I hate to have you put your email address or your phone number in there, but so reach out to us, info@kennybrown.com.
See, and I don't know if you guys realize what I used for a demonstration here. This was Kenny's helmet. And
also note that the helmet, the gloves, and the shoes are not included with purchase.
Nope, those are special ones for us. So I'm sorry. Let's see. Let us know if you liked us talking about products, or we're going to start getting back to more tech, like Kenny liked, and like we've been showing on all the other shows. This is just one of our shows we thought we'd have a little bit of fun with and kind of tell you what we're offering and show some of our new products. So let us know if you enjoyed this show in the comments. I would appreciate it. Let's see what else we have here. Rich has a helmet to show, and then I think if anybody has any questions or comments, please add them, and we will.
So there were a few other specials that we were running as well, Carrie. I think, and so we were. I know on the brake ducts and the brake duct kits, the complete kits that also include the silicone hose and the universal NACA duct, sort of a build-it-yourself kit with everything that you need. We are offering what we call 10% cash back in the form of Kenny Brown dollars, essentially. So with the purchase, and I don't want to share the secret, Carrie, but so far with the purchase of the brake ducts and the complete brake cooling kits, you're getting from now or Black Friday through the 30th of November, which is Wednesday of next week, for a purchase of those products, you are getting 10% cash back. And so we email you a gift card with a special code assigned just for you that you can use against a future Kenny Brown purchase. And Carrie, I didn't know, you want to hold those up again? We were.
Sure. So this is the SN95 version. And we have the S197 version that Rich will get. And we also have an S550. And Kenny always liked to have this oval hole here. It hit the eye of the rotor much better. And here is
we'll be talking about that design more as well in coming weeks.
It's a really nice, high quality product. We sell a lot of these. And so we offer these on the website by themselves for $199. And if you want the whole kit with the high temperature silicone hose, the inlets and everything to put it together, that is $429, and you get 10% off of that. So
okay, so now since we're talking about brake ducts, and I may have to share my screen again here real quick, and Dylan says he loves learning about the history of KB and hearing about the new products. Several people are making comments about the products, and they can't wait to see the t-shirt designs, which we do have coming soon. But Dan Figler, he made the comment, I'm looking for additional silicone brake hose for my kit. And I'll share my screen here again real quick.
Should I count?
Yeah. Okay. And so here we go, Dan. And this will appear no matter where you look for brakes. But we have added, and I'll have to find it here for you. There you go. We added 3-inch silicone brake duct hose. And so for those of you who don't know, brake duct hose, this silicone hose has actually been in short supply here in the United States, and the price has gone up drastically for very high quality hose. So there's various different types of orange silicone hose that are on the market, and some of it is pretty cheap. And some of it is pretty high quality. Ours is a super high quality piece. It does have a really smooth interior. It's a double layer. It's silicone and glass. It's wire and glass reinforced. There's a lot of tech in this, and the price has gone up. Like I said, we're selling it in 10-foot links right now for $129.99, which for that quality of hose is a really good price. It's gone up to as high as $180 for for a 10 or 12-foot stick of it now. So there you go. You can just go to our website and you can find it there.
Cool. And I've been adding links to some of the things we've been talking about, so you can either click the link or just go to our website. It's pretty easy to navigate around on that. So I wanted to share with you the Saturday Secret Special. So if you're viewing live today, you get to go online, and through the 30th of this month, if you order a Kenny Brown manufactured product, and that includes the brake hose, if you order that, you'll get 10% in gift cards back. So that's a really good deal. So just order it and you will get we'll send you a certificate. If you have any questions, just give us a call, but that's a really good deal. We never give percentages off of Kenny Brown products. You can't say never anymore, but we typically don't give discounts. The only people that get discounts is the Speed Therapy Academy members, and they usually get a 10% discount on almost everything. So anyway, if you're interested in thinking about ordering any Kenny Brown products, especially if you're planning on ordering a big one of our front or rear suspension rear grip kits, it would be a really good deal to save some money on that. So that is our big special on all Kenny Brown products, 10% back in gift cards. So
and
yeah.
So we will be sending out an email, I believe, either later today or tomorrow, with some additional Cyber Monday types of specials, and we may be adding 1 or 2 pieces of swag as well. But so the way it'll work is you'll if you purchase a Kenny Brown manufactured product, we will send you a separate email with a unique code that is specific to you for the full 10% of the amount that you purchased, and then that can be used again for a future purchase on our website, or if you're calling in order, then we can issue the code and the discount again at that time. So it is a pretty good deal. It allows everybody to take advantage of a purchase of a Kenny Brown product, as opposed to a specific dollar amount or percentage amount discount on a specific item. So it's not site-wide, but it is across the entire Kenny Brown manufactured product line. So just my disclaimer, sorry.
So, and it's good through the November 30th. Rory has a really good comment here, and Rich, you may be able to come in on this one. I'd love to get a Kenny Brown updated IRS frame, but that shipping is killer. Would be better to just build one on all new member than reuse the old unit. So do you want to answer that one? But Rory is and before you answer this, I'm going to answer.
Rory is in British Columbia, and so he's about as far away from any place that you can get, and so he has the issue with the shipping, the truck freight that's got to go across the border, and so he's got customs duties, and I'm sure that's astronomical nowadays because it's Canada, and so that's quite an expensive endeavor, I'm guessing, for him.
Yeah, and one thing, Rory, if you're ordering through the website, and this is a hint for everybody, if you're ordering a lot of Kenny Brown products, if you call us, we can typically get you better shipping, because the way the shopping cart works is that accumulates every single purchase you make, where we, if you call here, we'll put everything in one box or as few as boxes as possible. So it saves quite a bit on shipping. But Rich, do you want to answer that question? Or did we already answer it, Brad and I?
And I think Rory may have an IRS carrier himself already in Canada, so he's looking at shipping both ways, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have? Do you have any comments on that?
Okay, so we're looking at the idea of actually building the IRS carrier, but what you might find would be cheaper is maybe purchase one from an independent person, or even some of the salvage yards actually have been pulling them and selling them now. So it might be cheaper to purchase one here in the States and have it shipped, and then we can make the modifications, and then you're only crossing the border one time. So that might be the better option. As far as building one, we're looking at that. We're actually in the process of building the jigs to build our own, because they are getting in short supply. So it's something that's in the works, but is turned to be pretty complicated to duplicate that. But we're looking at getting all the geometry points correct and everything so that we can do our own at some point. So that's coming.
Yeah. So, and not coming soon. We're not going to put a date on that, but Rory probably purchasing. And if anybody, no, he's looking for an IRS core out of an IRS Mustang. So if you guys have anything laying around, put a comment in, and maybe you guys can. Oh, Rory, you have 2 now. Oh my goodness. Okay. So have you ever talked to Rich? Give Rich a call. He might be able to figure out a way to get that over the border a little cheaper for you. So just give Rich a call and he'll be able to help you with that. Okay. So does anybody have any other questions? Go ahead.
One thing I was going to suggest, Rich, you might know something about this. Some people have been putting carriers on things like Greyhound buses and actually shipping them all over the country for fairly cheap. I mean, I know it's been pretty cost effective, maybe Amtrak. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't talk about railroads right now since we're in the midst of a potential railroad strike here in the United States. But I don't know if Greyhound goes across the border into Canada, but sometimes you can use them for freight, and it can be really cost effective.
I've got one of our companies that we buy from actually ships Greyhound, and I pick them up downtown. So yeah, it can be done. So we just have to coordinate everything so we know it's coming.
Yeah. So Roy, why don't you coordinate with Rich? Maybe you can hook the 2 together, and we purchase one from you as a core, and you send your core here. So there's a whole bunch of different options that we can work on for you. And it looks like I'm going to butcher your name, but Brad, can you make that name up? Jesus Christ. I'll bookmark the Kenny Brown site. Found the content through a Kenny Brown video.
I think it's Jesus Christ.
Oh gosh. It is. Oh, that is clever. That is clever.
The great thing about social media, if you want to call YouTube social media, because YouTube is kind of social media now, is you can be whoever you want to be and call yourself whatever you want your name to be. And so
I was going to pronounce it as Jesus, but I thought, I don't know if that's it. Yeah, I love that. That's great. And he said,
anytime my brother's viewing on YouTube, I always know it's him because his name is Your Mom. So anytime Your Mom is commenting on YouTube, I know that's him. So the joys of social media.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad you're enjoying the content, and there's a whole bunch if you ever want to binge on our YouTube page, and it's a great place to subscribe, so you know when new things are coming up, and also when the Cars and Coffee is coming up every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I think we've had enough. We've gone over, Brad, 15 minutes over. We appreciate everybody hanging out, and we'll be showing more apparel as we go along, and we're having some more tech stuff come up. We're trying to get another tech person on this month, and we won't.
Well, we think we might be able to get Ben from Impact Racing to come on, because he loves to come on around the holiday time, and he spends at least a third of his year in Indianapolis, which is where Impact Racing's headquarters is, and so he's always in town, and we love to have him in the studio. So right now we're trying to coordinate maybe getting him in the studio before the end of the year, but he can also do remote if he's going to be at home in Phoenix as well. Okay. So and we also want to get Lance from Fox Body FX on. Lance is the coolest guy in the Fox Body world by far and away, and he's just a cool, interesting character. So we want to have him on to talk about Fox Body FX and what he's done, and some things that he's going to be doing with us in the coming year. So.
Yeah, and also if you like the show today, give us some thumbs up. We always like to get a little thumbs up. And then also Jorge has something. Repeat how to get the 10% gift card. So Jorge, all you have to do is order your products on Shopify. I'm telling you what our website is, the Kenny Brown Performance website. Just order your products and you will get a gift card sent to you, electronic gift card sent to you that same day. And then also, Jorge, I know you work with Rich directly, so you could call him and order your products and get it as well.
Yeah. So Jorge, since you have been working with Rich, maybe reach out to him if you have some specifics as well, and he'll be happy to help you. But if you're looking at front suspension, rear suspension, suspension components, chassis items, jacking rails, extreme matrix kits, anything like that we manufacture in-house, Rich can help you with that. Those are all eligible for the 10% cash back gift cards as well. And Rory also said, are the lower battle box upgrading a must for the IRS conversion on a Fox? And so Rory and Rich would be a great source for this. You don't have to do the torque box reinforcements, or what they call battle boxes, if the torque boxes aren't worn out. So on good cars where they're not worn out, there's no real reason to do it. But if you are planning on racing the car or running slick tires, maybe it's always a good idea to do that anyway. We're talking about torque boxes on Fox Body Mustangs and SN95 Mustangs. That is the point on the chassis where the rear lower control arm mounts to the chassis. So on cars that get drag raced a lot, particularly with drag slicks and things like that, those torque boxes tend to get worn out or they get torn, and the sheet metal around the torque box gets damaged. And so a battle box is what is commonly referred to as a bunch of pieces of sheet metal that basically are welded together that get welded in place to reinforce that pickup point for that lower control arm. Did I say that right, Rich? Is Rich still in the studio?
He said you've got it. So did a good job. Good. Okay. Well, if anybody has a last call for any questions or comments, and then we are going to say goodbye to you, and we will see you next Saturday on Cars and Coffee at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And do you have anything else? Any other closing comments, Brad?
Nope. I'm going to go have a root beer float.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Take care, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.